Hello, I'm Peter Von Eason from Kootenai Outdoor Adventures. Today we're going to go over some basic maintenance that we need to do every year on our trailer before we head out for our first trip. One of the first things that we're going to go over are the propane tanks. Every propane tank is generally good for 10 years. There's a stamp right up in here in one of the corners. I just recently had this one revalved because the tank was 10 years old. And as you can see, it's a nice shiny new valve on the top here, and they redid a stamp right here. The place I took it to put a color code on it here just so it's easy to find. You want to make sure that your tank is valid within that 10 years. The last thing you want to do is be going out and filling it up the night before you're heading out and then finding out that they won't fill it up because your valve is expired. So look ahead a week or two, take them in. You can pretty much take them into any place that distributes your propane, home hardware or propane facility itself. And a lot of times it's cheaper to get them revalved on these bigger 30-pound tanks. When it comes to the 20-pound tanks, it might just be pretty close to the same price just to buy a whole new tank. But just keep that in mind anyway. Next thing we're going to talk about is batteries for your trailer. What you need are deep cycle batteries. Regular car and truck batteries won't work for a trailer. These are designed so that they can be fully drained and charged and they won't get wrecked. You should be able to get these batteries at any parts stores like Lordco, Napa, Princess Auto. You can go to Canadian Tire or any other stores like that. A lot of places carry these RV batteries. Generally for trailers, there's just two sizes of batteries. There's 12 volt and 6 volt. It depends on your rack that's in the front of your trailer, what you'll be able to fit. I actually run two 6 volts and run them in series. I'll show you how to do that in a bit here. And that makes a 12 volt system. Or you can just have one 12 volt battery. Before you hook up your battery, you're going to want to make sure that all your terminals are nice and clean so you get a good connection and good power supply and good charging for your battery as well. You can head to a Canadian Tire hardware store. Most places pretty much carry these. Cost you a couple dollars and you'll be able to clean your terminals and everything. As you can see in here, you just put that end over some of your fatter terminals and just twist it, and that'll clean the terminals off. This end here, it's just for getting in some of those tighter areas and the smaller pieces. They're too small for that end. Don't forget to also make sure that you wear glasses when you're doing this. The last thing you want to do is get any of that corrosion into your eyes. Now with these 6 volt batteries here, I'm going to run these two 6 volts in series into a 12 volt system. What I've done is I've connected my positive off my trailer to one battery, and I've connected my negative off the trailer to the other battery. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run a jumper that goes from the other battery, from the negative to the other positive, and that'll create a 12 volt system. One thing that you're going to want to do is when you have your wrench or your crescent wrench, be very careful of this checker plating that they put on most trailers. Last thing you want to do is accidentally be tightening up a nut and touch this checkerboard. You cause an arc. So just go nice and slow and make sure everything's tightened up.
Before I install my propane tanks onto my trailer, I'm just going to take a quick look at the regulator and the propane lines themselves, just to make sure there's no cracking or wear and tear. I usually flip the directional valve back and forth just to make sure that everything is moving nice and smoothly. You'll notice on your securing bracket that there's notches cut out. Those are for the flat ridges on your propane tanks right near your handles. Those are just secure it in place while you're driving down the highway or the back roads.
We'll go over trailer wiring next. It can be nothing more frustrating than not getting a strong signal from your truck to your trailer as you're towing. Losing your tail lights or your signal lights can be pretty dangerous. So first thing you want to do is the easiest thing. Just check the end of your trailer plug. And you're just going to look for a little bit of corrosion on there, a little bit of dirt. All you need to do is scrape those down just with a small pick, small screwdriver, and just scuff up the metal a little bit. After that, go to your truck end, check your truck plug. There's going to be live power there, so you just have to scuff it up real slowly. Try not to touch two prongs at the same time. You end up causing a short, and generally that'll solve most of your problems. Something that's often overlooked are your bearings on your wheels. Every year you should have them repacked with grease, unless you've only gone out a couple times. Then you might get away with every 2 years. You can talk to a licensed mechanic or your RV dealer, and they'll let you know the best advice on how often these should be done. On my trailer here, I'm actually pretty lucky. I've got what are called grease buddies. It's just a grease nipple there, and I don't actually have to take everything apart and pack the bearing. I can just put a grease gun on there and give it a few shots of grease or whatever it's needed, and I'm good to go for the season. Another thing you want to look at are your tires when you're starting out for your first time in the year. Look for any kind of cracks, wear and tear, fading, anything that's out of the ordinary. As for your tire tread, it's pretty much the same as your regular vehicles. Over the years of using it, they're going to wear down. You're going to want to check the tread depth on them every year and change them accordingly when they need to. The last thing you want to do is be changing a trailer tire on the side of a highway. Checking your awning next. That's a real big thing. There's nothing worse than not having your awning pull out or retract back in. Everybody likes to stay dry when they're camping, especially if you've got kids. So we'll just go over pulling it out, setting it up, making sure everything lines up and works well, and even more importantly, that it goes back in. You're going to be in real big trouble if you can't get that awning to go back in and you need to travel down the highway.
All I'm doing here is releasing the awning locking clips and also loosening off the tightening screws. Make sure when you're raising your awning legs to the desired height that when you lock the handle in, the pin goes all the way through the hole, like shown here. Set one side of your awning a little higher than the other side, so that when it rains, the water runs off the lower side. This will prevent pooling in the middle of your awning and a potential collapse of your awning. Small tip to smoothly retract your awning back up into the trailer is to pull down on the awning tether while you flip down the lever to the roll up. This takes the tension off the awning, and then you can slide your tether to the middle and slowly retract it back to the trailer. Make sure your awning legs snap back in with a loud click, and turn your tightening screws to tighten everything up for when you drive away. Every year you should take out your hot water anode and store it away. We're just going to put it back into place here for the season. You just put some thread tape on it, screw it into place, and just tighten it up enough so the water doesn't leak out. Every time I change out a propane bottle after a refill, I'll go inside and start lighting the stove. I want to get out all the air bubbles that are in the line before I head out. This will also speed up the process of your fridge kicking in once you start camping, and you won't have any failures of it not lighting because of the air bubbles.
One thing that I hate more than anything are the jack stands. I think a lot of people are in the same boat. I always make sure every year they kind of get caked with mud and dirt from traveling on back roads. So I like to wash them off with a hose at the beginning of the year, just get all that crud. It makes everything turn a lot nicer. The other thing that I like to do, I have a little cheater system that I've learned from a few experienced campers, that's to use a cordless drill. This cordless drill here, I bought specifically for this job. The last thing I like to do when I get to a campsite is to sit there and spin the jack stand. I always do have my manual one, just in case the batteries are dead for some reason. Maybe I've just been busy and forgot to charge them. So always have this in your trailer, just in case. And see how painless that was? This saves you time and gets you to that campfire that much quicker. There's a few tools that I always bring on every single camping trip. Crescent wrench, probably the most important one. Whether it comes to having to change out your batteries or clean them off, this is great for different size nuts. You can actually even use this for your jack stands too, if you absolutely have to. Maybe you forgot your drill, or maybe you forgot your manual crank as well for your jack stands. Other thing I like to bring is a couple screwdrivers. These just happen to be the Robertson ones. These are for the screws on all of my cupboards. I've got two different sizes in this trailer, so I just bring these, and I actually bring a spare set of screws that are just one size bigger than what's in there. After I go over a whole bunch of bumpy roads down the back roads, every once in a while I end up having one that gets stripped out. So it's nice to just be able to put a new one in with these, and you don't have to worry about that cupboard falling off on your way back. This drill, like I said earlier, I got it just for the jack stands. And I can honestly say, once you get one and use it, you'll never go back. Thanks for watching today. If there's anything I've missed, let me know in the comments below. We'll try to address it in the future. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that like button, and please hit that subscribe. Thanks for watching.